Welcome, everyone. We are live on this beautiful Monday morning. We're talking about polarity today. Polarity, or pole dancing, if you wish. Now, polarity is influenced by vibration. Vibration is movement. Remember this. So we are constantly moving between left and right, the way a pendulum swings. Without those two sides, how can a pendulum swing? So it moves between two poles. That's what is jewel about it, left and right. Not that they are opposite, because they're not opposites. They're the same in their nature. It is only a matter of vibration that will tell you which side of the pole you are on. We move through life with a pole dance, polarity. Whether you are pro something or anti, you are exactly the same. Exactly the same. It is only a matter of vibration. Which one of those things has got you riled up more? They'll tell you what state of mind and mood that you occupy. So, here now is how we do this on a daily basis. If you get up in the morning and you are in a particular mood, you are polarized towards things in that direction. So if you're in a good mood, you're relaxed, you're at ease, you're jovial, you laugh easy, you're polarized towards light-hearted living. So the things that you encounter will be light-hearted, easygoing, you'll have a good time. That's where you're polarized. That's the direction you are pointed in. That is the way the pendulum is leaning for you. Now, if you get out of bed and you are cranky, you'll notice sometimes the first thing you'll do is hit something. Either your toe, your knee, your elbow, something, just to reinforce where you are. So it's a very subtle dance. It is a very beautiful but subtle dance. The way we move ourselves from mood to mood, from state to state. We are literally pole dancing, is what we're doing. You understand? Because we all want to feel good. We want to feel better than we currently do. Well, that means you have to move yourself in the direction or state, mood, thought that makes you feel better. And how will you know when you feel better? You will feel better because, literally speaking, feel. Your body will say, "Ooh, this is nice." Or your body will say, "Somebody's going to catch these hands." That clearly shows you your mood, your state of mind, your mental attitude. There is no other way to get around the law of polarity. The law of polarity is always on, but it is you with your mood and your state of mind that will determine your experiences on the pole. This is what it is. So, what kind of pole dancer do you want to be? Well, that depends. What kind of state of mind? What kind of mood are you in? Hmm? What kind of mood are you in? You see, the mood that is felt, that will determine how you dance on the pole. That will determine your experiences. So, what kind of experience do you want to have? Sometimes we don't know the experience, but we know how we want to feel as we have the experience. Well, when you have that feeling, you have polarized yourself. You've moved. You've changed mental attitudes. You've changed states. This is what you've done. This is how we live on a daily basis, moving from state to state, from pole to pole, always. And that the way you move, your mental attitude plays a very significant role. It determines what you will experience. So the way you move, the way you speak, the way you think, the way you feel about yourself tells you where you are on the scale of polarity. And it tells you how much is required of you to change. Well, the reason I say that is because polarity flows right into a rhythm, a habitual state, a way that we do things. We just have our way, don't we? We have a particular way of doing things because that's the habitual state that we are in. So when you choose your state of mind, your mood, your mental attitude, if you choose that thing, that mood, day in and day out, that's the thing you do and you go back to, that is your home state. That is your habitual mood. So that habitual mood will give you the same type of experience every time that shows you where you are polarized. But where you are polarized, because it's your habit, you've now formed a pattern, a rhythm. And here's how you realize how much of you is required. You'll notice if you're way down in the dumps, it's going to, as low down as you are, it will take something high like that, that matches the low to bring you out of it. Rhythm compensates. However far to the left you swing is however far to the right you have to come back. You'll never cheat yourself. So if you find the art of balance is key, don't go from one extreme to the next. That is exhausting. But if you move a little at a time, if you move a little at a time, remember rhythm compensates. So then you'll have to move a little bit over there to match. So let's put it this way. If you're just kind of sort of sad, it won't take you anything to laugh because you're only kind of sort of sad. So listen to the words manic, depressive. What is manic? What is mania? Oh my God, you have so much energy. You're bouncing off the walls. You're freaking out. That's manic. But look at where it swings to. Depressive. You see? Those two things. This is why balance is important. You never aim for an extreme. Don't try and be extreme about anything. You move and you'll know how much to move based upon where you are at the moment and what you're doing in the scale of polarity. How do you feel? You know how you feel. So however you feel, if you want to feel better and you're lower, more is going to be required to pull you up from there. So you'll need to have to find a thought that is bigger than where you currently are. But if you practice moving in smaller increments, you know what? I just want to feel better. I just want to laugh. Then laugh. You find whatever your favorite comedy is and you watch it and you laugh. You see, because what happens to us when we become deliberate manifestors, we tend to fixate on whether the thing is here or the thing is not here. And when you fixate, you find that you're not actually living. You've hit the pause button. You cannot hit pause. Because the thing you have deliberately planted, the seed that you've deliberately planted, You deliberately planted it by saying, this is the experience I want to have. The moment you make that selection, sometimes we say, well, you know what? I'm just going to wait for it to show up. You cannot wait for something to show up. You have to live. You get up, you do your chores. Why? Because if you are busy living, you don't have time to worry about when the harvest is there. You see, because worry, look at where you are on the pole of worry. Now everything you encounter is going to make you worry and fret. You see it? That's what I'm trying to tell you this morning. You don't fret. You plant the seed and it's planted. If you're going to think about what you've done, give thanks for it and go and do your laundry. Go and sweep the floor, wash the floor, go to work, feed the puppy or the kitty, live. Because the moment you become bored, because you are wanting to rush, remember, rhythm compensates. So if you allow yourself to get really worried, right? If you allow yourself to get really worried and panicked about the thing, what do you think seeds you've now planted? Worry, panic, you've now planted those. Take a moment and live your life. The thing you have planted has to mature. Because you don't see it yet, it doesn't mean it is not there. So pay attention to where you are on the scale of polarity in that swing of the pendulum. Are you worried? Are you fretting? Well, you'll know what it feels like. You're tight in the chest, jaw is tight, you're agitated, you're pacing. Go find something to do. Idle hands, you know what they tell you? Idle hands are the devil's workshop. If you are busy living, you don't have time to count and say, is it here now? Is it here now? Well, you think you're smart. Look at you. Don't fret about things. Oh, Angela, that's easier said than done. Don't fret. If you are on the scale of polarity and you're focused on accomplishing your task, you don't have time to worry because you're busy. You are otherwise fully engaged. So remain engaged on the pole of what you are doing. You don't take your eyes off of it. You don't deviate from it. That's what you're doing. So do it well. And when the task is finished, you move on to the next task. Why? Because now you're maintaining, I don't want to say you're maintaining neutrality, but you're staying right down the middle. You see your third choice, your third option, right? You're not leaning too far in one or any direction. You've just simply chosen to remain faithful to where you are and what you're presently doing. That's what you've done. So you see, living is a beautiful dance. And we do it naturally, you know. We do it naturally. If you think about it, we go through life and we're just living. We're just blah, 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 blah. We're just doing the do, you know? We're just doing the do. But the moment you say you want to become deliberate, it's like we forget that we just do the do naturally. Remember, you do it naturally. The only difference is instead of allowing the current of life to take you where it is going, you have decided to set your sail in the direction of the outcome you want, of the experience you want. You see it? We are living in that way naturally day in and day out. So where are you on the pole? Are you on an extreme side? Or are you just gently moving? The key is to gently move because rhythm compensates. Gently move yourself. This is why being deliberate is better, because we have that word triggered, right? If you go out into the world and you find that you're triggered by something, that means something is manipulating you in the poll. I want you to think of voting. What is it called? You go to the what? You go to the polls. And what's on either side of the poll? A conservative, a Democrat, a Republican, a Labour Party if you're British. You see what happens? You go to the polls. You choose a side. Don't think you can escape law. Everything follows law. So you see, even elections have polls. So when you're reading through to choose, don't walk away saying, well, I might as well choose the lesser of two evils. The next time you are tempted to let that phrase come out of your mouth, catch yourself. The lesser of two evils? Make a third choice. The one that you want to represent you, because allegedly we need representation. The one that you want to represent you, pray for them. Oh, I could do such a thing? You mean I don't have to take which one I get? Exactly. What is prayer? It is you being deliberate to say, listen, we're going to have governments, but I get a say in the kind of government. Your say does not end with who you vote for. You may not even vote for anybody, but that does not mean you cannot pray. That does not mean you cannot deliberately say, listen, if this person's going to represent me, I want somebody like me, honest, reliable, and list off all the things you want that person. Well, where else are you going to get the pattern to follow? You have to be the pattern. Use the law of polarity to your greatest advantage. Deliberately choose. And when you choose, now you bring that person in your mind's eye and raise them to a higher level mentally. Just do it. Governments would change. Oh, they would. Don't take my word for it. Practice. If you think about it, it's being done. Something is being projected outward and you are choosing because you're triggered to do something. That part of the pole has been activated for you. So what are you going to do? Well, that depends. The way you act depends upon your mental mood. Right? Your mental mood. That's why you were triggered. Because of the mental mood that you occupy, the side of the pole that you are on. Watch it and you'll see. But if you learn to observe instead of react, you will recognize that you are the one choosing what side of the pole you will live. That's what you're doing. Oh, it may seem tedious, but you're doing it every day. You just don't know. Every time you make a choice, you've selected a pole. You're either for or against. You notice how you can't be lukewarm. Lukewarm doesn't mean you're not making a choice. Right? Because you have to make a choice. Or the choice is made for you. How so? Well, the choice is made for you depending upon the mental state that you occupy. That's how the choice is made. And the way that you make that choice, depending on your mental mood or attitude, is where you will allow yourself to be polarized. I know it seems like it doesn't make sense, but pay attention. What's triggering you? That's the part of the pole you're leaning on. And however hard you lean on that is how hard it has to come back. This is why when we have the phrase, the punishment must fit the crime. That's rhythm. It compensates. If you just steal a loaf of bread, why should the penalty be death? That is excessive. So you see, rhythm always compensates, the same in its nature. Remember the law of correspondence. If you watch and you see, everything follows this particular pattern. And because we are human, it is driven by our moods and attitude. If you can clearly see your mood and your attitude, then you will clearly predict your experiences. Because the one that you feel is the one that you move with, the one you act upon. That's what you're doing. So today, practice the art of pole dancing. Where are you on the pole? Where are you? Are you allowing yourself to be moved? Or are you the determining factor in your movement? It is always best to be the determining factor in your movement. Why? Because you're the one who decides where you want to move to. But if you allow someone to move you, you do not know what their destination is. That is cause for great concern. You might not like it when you get there. Shoot, you might not even enjoy the journey. So it is always best to choose. Choose. Scripture tells you, choose this day which God you will serve. And we want to take that literally. It's not. Blessings. It is mental. What side of the pole will you be on? What side? Then it should be your choice. Because so many of us, we go through life and we allow ourselves to be triggered. But the problem with being triggered is this. The moment you are triggered, it means you have felt something very potently. And the moment you feel it, relax. Good boy. The moment you feel it, you will act upon it. Just like that. And so that is why, if you are paying attention to where you say you want to be and where you are in the pole, well then, you'll know exactly how you're going to behave. You will. Because you are already doing it. How many times have you left the house and your mood was, oh, don't cross me today. Catch these hands. How many times has your grandmother said, you on my last nerve, boy? Right? That's my point. You see where you are in the pole? Well, then clearly you can see how you will act. So when you see where you are on the pole and you don't like it, if you don't want to, somebody gonna catch these hands. If that's not what you want, then you want to do what? You want to feel better. You want to ease the angst. So that means you have to move from where you are to where you want to be instead. And what are you moving? You're moving mentally. You're moving your mood. You're moving your state. See? See how easy it is to be a pole dancer? See how easy it is? With a little practice. We become incredibly disciplined the more we practice. Because as Neville says, there will come a time where it is that we move on to, we will create at will, meaning you think it, it is done. Whereas here where we are, there is this delay that gives us the illusion that nothing is happening. That's right. We feel as though, why is it taking so long? Why is nothing changing? That is an illusion that nothing is changing because of where we presently are. We move slower here. We do. But there will come a time where we're not going to be moving slow anymore, but we'll be able to say, and there it is, and there it is, and there it is, over and over again. No delay. So if you don't practice the art of discipline now, you will end up with all of these things that you don't want to experience. So you see, my beautiful friends, today, practice the art of polarity. The art of polarity is a mental one. Mental polarity, it means what mood are you in? What kind of mood are you in? It's only mental. But the longer you sustain the mood, you've got to be physical with it. If we remember that the all is mind, the universe is a mental creation. Everything starts in your mind. That's not just what I'm telling you because I'm bored. The very fact that you said, well, I want to be here this morning to hear what this crazy girl has to say, you made that decision mentally. You made it mentally. And then you acted upon what you felt. So you see, you deliberately manifested this morning by saying, this is where I will be. Oh, but Angela, how come this manifestation is faster? Because it's here. Right here, right now. How long has it been here? See? But for some things, depending on the complexity of them, more time is required to bring about the necessary people. Many hands make light work. So you see, my beautiful friends, don't think that you're not manifesting on a daily basis. Because remember, the word manifest is not some hocus pocus thing. The word manifest is law. You must always show the contents of your mind. As above, so below. As within, so without. Manifest just simply means to show what is within. Period. That's all. It doesn't mean, oh my God, there's a special formula I got to use. That's not what it means at all. It just means you are showing the contents of what you have within yourself. Just like when you go outside and you see the roses, they are manifest based upon what was planted. You can't look at that rose bush out there and say, oh my gosh, she planted snap peas. You will never say that. Because what is manifest is what was come forth from within. So if you remember, we're not doing some kind of crazy woo-woo magic anything. We're just simply recognizing that the law has always been there. And now we're becoming deliberate at using it. That's what we're doing. Deliberately, we're putting something in our mind so that we can predictably see it on the outside. So this morning, where in the pole of life are you? And you will know where you are. Remember that video, if you've ever seen it, with Miley Cyrus on I Came In Like a Wrecking Ball, that one, where she's swinging on the wrecking ball? Hey, that's polarity and rhythm. Swinging back and forth. You can learn to ride it, or you can let it hit you at every turn. So being deliberate is riding the pole. Hello. Being deliberate is riding the pole. But if you carry on living unwittingly, that wrecking ball comes back and it will hit you. Every time you're like, man, why is life hitting me this way? Because you're just going with it. You're just letting it happen to you because you don't know that you can decide what you want to experience. You're just going along with it because you think that's your lot in life. It's not your lot in life. It's just because you're being unwitting about it instead of being deliberate. So today, my beautiful friends, ponder that. Where will you be deliberate today? And if you notice something, we can be deliberate one thing at a time, yes? Oh, yes. Because in order to be deliberate, you got to give that thing your full attention. How do you give something your full attention? By putting a piece of attention over there, and a piece of attention over there, and a piece of attention over there. But then you're not focused, are you? No, you're divided. So in order to give something your undivided attention, be deliberate about it. Be deliberate. Let us take a moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space this morning. V224, hey, hey, hey. I see you here on Twitter. Beloved Love Troll was also here. Welcome to the space, darling. Welcome. You know I love seeing you. We must catch up. YouTube and Facebook, who's here? Oh, Dawn Imanon. Oh, hello, darling. It's been a while. Oh, indeed it has been. It's good to see you. A-Not and Ronay, you are the ones who've made yourselves known in the chat. I see you. Welcome. Who's here on Fanbase this morning? Let's start it. Let me scroll down. Oracle Treehouse, Moon, Miss Boricua, Flo Smiles, Fawn, Casey, Tajane. Joaquin is here. Zisti. Hello, Toyera. Happy is in the house. Wait, let me do this. There you go. Miss Trina. Hello, beautiful. It's good to see you. Listen, it is always a pleasure, an honor, and a privilege to be here with you every morning. Now, for some of you who were wondering where I was on Friday, well, yikes. My alarm didn't go off on Friday. And so my body sprang awake an hour later. So my sincerest apologies for that. And it was funny because even a little bit, he was fast asleep too. So, that's how we, Flo Smiles was asking, can you cure yourself from being triggered? Yes. How? By choosing your mental mood. If you choose the mental mood of somebody's going to catch these hands, or as my beautiful friend Delight would say, I was ready to show my ass. If that's your mental attitude, what do you think will come along and trigger you? Things that match the catch these hands. So to prevent yourself from being triggered, you choose what you will allow yourself to respond to. So if you choose, listen, I'm just jovial today. I want to see all the good things that I can laugh at today. Well, then those are the things that will quote unquote trigger you to laugh. So you choose your trigger. That is how you can prevent or cure yourself from being triggered. You prevent or cure yourself from being triggered by selecting the type of trigger you want to respond to. Well, you're always going to be triggered. Why? Because of the pole. What pole are you on? What mental mood? You're always going to respond according to the mental mood. So once you choose deliberately this day who you will serve, well, that will tell you how you will respond. And if you can see how you will respond, before you make your choice, because you will. Think about it. Before you solidify your choice, you can clearly see how you will respond. Again, if you say you don't catch these hands, well, that means you're ready for a fight. So you know you're going to have an argument. Do you want one? No. Well, then choose the other mood, the other state of mind, the other mental attitude where you're at peace and you would just rather laugh. Choose that, because then you know how you'll respond, don't you? See, we always know. So you just choose which one you will serve. Let me know if that makes sense. Pushpinder was here. I didn't even see him. I'm seeing him in the chat there. So I trust that that makes sense. That was a very beautiful question, by the way, Flo Smiles, because lots of people, we don't know that we can, but the moment you choose, you see, the Bible always tells us to choose, but it tells you what to choose. I put before you life and death. Choose life.
Angela, I did it, but I didn't think I could do it again, and I did. So thank you.
You are welcome, Flo Smiles. That's the point. You did it. And the only thing that will make you better at doing it is deliberately doing it. And you see, what comes out of that is a beautiful self-discipline. That's what comes when we practice being deliberate. Discipline. Discipline really is just choosing how you want to behave, but not according to what the world wants you to do. If you live, because I'm going to touch on this about morality, but I'm going to go into it deeper on another day, probably tomorrow, because I mentioned that morality is an illusion. Oh, Angela, what do you mean morality is an illusion? Well, if you show up tomorrow, we'll break it down and I'll tell you how. But it all has to do with that choice that you make. Remember, Neville Goddard says you will live a life that is beautiful if you live under, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, if you look at the majority of the majority of the world is living with I'm gonna do to you before you do to me. But that's for tomorrow. That's just a teaser, yes? But remember, you have the choice. How do you want to behave? Well, then, the moment you decide how you want to behave, you have now chosen the side of the pole that you'll be on, which determines your vibration. Yes, indeed. The vibration is felt, it reverberates, right? We think vibration is some kind of woo woo. No. What I am saying to you only comes out as words because you've learned these words. But these are vibrations of sound that pass over your tympanic membrane, your eardrum. That's all it is. But you've put words to match it. Everything vibrates, nothing stands still. Even when you are looking at your screen, you are looking at the vibration of light because you can see color. And the slower that light is moving, the darker the color is. But the faster the light is moving, vibrating, the lighter the color. So you see, everything vibrates. Nothing stands still. So that means you and I can't not make a choice. We must move. So you will either deliberately choose or you will make the choice you've always made because you must move. You understand? You must select. Hello, Melly Mel and Osanya. Hey, Melly Mel, have I ever said your name before? Probably not, but I could. I trust that this message makes sense to you this morning. If it doesn't, listen, my DMs are always open. Yeah, my DMs are always open. You can slide into my DMs, okay? Um, you can do that. And you don't have to tell me your life story. I don't need to know your life story. You just need to answer the question. What do you want to experience? And when you answer that question deliberately, you selected the pole that you're going to be on. That's the pole you're going to dance on, people. Remember that. Remember, you're acting according to the pole that you selected. So what kind of pole dancer are you? Right? Catch these hands kind of pole dancer? Or you're sprinkling confetti and rose petals everywhere you go, pole dancer? You can choose. You can choose whichever pole you want to dance on. But the choice that you make better be one that serves you. You understand? We choose according to how we want to live. That's what we do deliberately. But if you just keep living the same pattern and habit over and over and over again, well, then you're staying as you are. Do you want to remain as you are, or do you want to change? Why do I keep harping on it all day, every day? Well, sooner or later you'll act. Sooner or later you'll get tired of hearing me say, you can change your life. And you'll say, this crazy heifer. Let me see if she's as nuts as she sounds. And you will get up one morning and you will say, I want to change my life. Oh. And when you say that, do you know what you've done? You've moved mentally. And you will now move in the direction of the pole that you've chosen. And then you will have the audacity to slide into my DMs and say, oh my God, you were right. I'm like, I'm not trying to be right. I'm just trying to help you have a better life. It got nothing to do with being right or wrong. Right? See? I trust it makes sense to you this morning. I know, Melly Mel, I've never said your name, darling. I know. Because I would have remembered. I would have remembered. But I love you all. This morning, as you hear the bowl, as you hear, you might get bird song. I don't know. It might be loud because he's right next to me. I've got my hand on him. As you hear the bowl this morning, what side of polarity are you on today? And you see, polarity comes in a spectrum, you know. Yes, spectrum? Yes. Because depending on the rate of vibration, like look at the difference between red and orange. Depending on how fast you move red, you can go from red to orange, but you'll flow through the red orange phase before you get to the orange. Right? Oh, relax, relax. You're okay, you're okay. So it is a spectrum. The rate of vibration tells you where you are in that spectrum, that swing of the pendulum. That's why you can go from a strong dislike to a dislike to a, I could like you, I could tolerate you, to a, you know what, I strongly like you. But you see, you're moving from hate to love. Nah. But you flow through the strong dislike and the like and the strong like. You ever fill out a survey? They say you strongly agree or you strongly disagree. Polls. And then you get the stuff in between. If you think that anything that you are living is outside of law, think again. You understand? So as you hear the bowl this morning, if you started off this morning and you were not where you want to be mentally, in the right mood that you would prefer, take a moment and as you hear the bowl, just breathe and make a choice. You know what? I want to feel better. And the moment you tell yourself you want to feel better, if you allow it, you will feel better. But if you say, man, I got to go do this and that to make myself, no, you don't have to do anything to make yourself feel better other than choose to feel better. And you will then allow, because the moment you choose it, your body says, oh, better, you say? I have just the thing. And you will feel a little bit better. And you will say, oh, I like this a little more. And your body says, oh, a little more. And you say, yeah, let me feel a little better. Yes. And then your body says, oh, I got you covered. Your body is your faithful assistant. Just tell it what you want it to do by choosing this day whom you will serve. Choose your mood. Let's get the bowl, shall we? Get the bowl. Ah, M. Genie, happy dawn. Relax, relax. Let me get the bowl. Let mommy get the bowl, okay? I haven't gone anywhere and left you, sweet boy. I'm right here. Let mommy get the bowl. Let's get that bowl. Now remember, choose how you want to feel. Choose. And as soon as you say, I want to feel better than what I feel right now, wait for a moment and you'll get a beautiful surprise from your body. You will actually feel better. And then you can turn up the dial and say, let me feel more of that. Test it as you hear the bowl. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. V224, thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you tonight if you're available at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the lecture, The Law. That one came in by request. I love you, and I will see you tonight. Much love to you. Twitter is closed. Let me, there you go, get that. YouTube and Facebook, Melly Mel, Asanya, Miss Trina Vina, Don Emanon, Anot, Rone. Thank you all for being here on YouTube and Facebook this morning, and for the others who've not made themselves known here in the chat, I see you. I'll see you tonight. Much love to you all.